Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first episode of season 2, Embodied Divinity, with our special guest conversations. I'm so excited to welcome back my dear friend and such a beautiful, gorgeous being, Megan Baker, who is the embodiment of Sophia Christ consciousness, aka Sophia Pearl. I hope I said all that right. But this
Thank you.
season's a little different. Last season, we did a lot of interview style. And as you guys have seen through the evolution of my podcast, we're really just sinking into deep authenticity and candid conversation. So, me and Megan are going to be just deepening into conversation around a topic that we kind of talked about for 2 seconds before we came on here. But, Megan, the first question I have for you, the question of the season that I'm going to ask every guest is: are you ready? What for you is the most sacred part of the human experience, and how do you stay in flow with your divinity?
Mm. Ooh, the most sacred part of the human experience. I don't know. That's all of it. All of the human experience is so beautiful and so like juicy.
Mhm.
So being in the present moment with it and being able to observe each, you know, each little minutia and each joyful opportunity within each moment is so precious. And to really come into peace with that and savor it. The universe is such an expansive place, and there's so much going on outside of here. And so being human, being present with humanity is so peaceful. And we get to do these delightful, beautiful little things like make eggs and go for walks and hug our loved ones and fight and drive fast and just like all of it is such a pleasure to be able to witness and experience and be in here. um yeah, I don't so all the things. What
That's
was
so
the
perfect.
second half of that?
The
Staying in
second half
divinity.
of that is: how do you stay in flow with your divinity through it all?
And that also comes down to every moment really um really being in. This is a hard thing to put into words, isn't it? But remembering at all points in time that we are spiritual beings living in a human experience, and to be in joy with that fact and to love that fact in each moment, really keeping our hearts open and expansive through all that we're experiencing. The human ego is always going to be tempted to be in its narrative, to be in its victim state, and to kind of push out divine awareness. But when we can have our hearts be full in love, then it becomes easy.
Mm, so yummy. This is why we're friends. Oh,
Uh,
I
and
just
I want to fully disclose that before we began recording, I was sharing with Nikayla from my ego, from the human self, how victimy I was feeling. And so I just need to put out there that this isn't like, it really is about each moment. Um it's not always all delightful sounding and peaceful. Like there's it's really a concerted effort that we have to bring ourselves to and do so with intention and do so with awareness.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I love what we kind of decided to steer our conversation towards today, which is like living as the embodiment of an oracle or a channel. And like there's so much that comes with that. It's such obviously a sacred, divine, beautiful thing. And it's not like we're I think there's this common misconception of like people who can use their voice, people who can channel, people who can facilitate light and show up and move divinity through these really human experiences. I think there's this misconception of like that we don't also take shits and cry ourselves to sleep sometimes, you know? And I think it's so necessary to talk about like there's this the human experience is divine. It's through living in these human experiences. It's through the roughness you're experiencing this morning that you're also deepening your connection with the divine. And it's not like we're living over here in this different reality. We're right here also. We're just seeing it through a different lens.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And it's holding space for all of that at the same time. Like we aren't just human beings who are messy and doing the best that we can. We are also divine beings, and we're also divine beings who are present in other realities while we're present in this one. And it's it's an adventure. Like literally every moment is an adventure, is an experience. And yeah, playing witness to all of that is so much fun and so beautiful. And we have to approach it with such a sense of humor, because like how easy would it be if we were taking ourselves seriously all of the time?
I
And
can't
it's
do it anymore. I literally can't. Like, I feel like all I do anymore is fucking laugh at myself because it's just number one, it's so beautiful. And also, like, if I couldn't bring laughter and joy into all these experiences, I think I would be just like, for lack of better word, just like, ugh, like, what are we doing? You know?
absolutely, yeah, laughter is it's so necessary, it's so healing, and it's just it liberates us from getting stuck in kind of these constructs that the human mind likes to form too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it opens us up.
So I don't know about you, but one thing I was thinking about in terms of like my own gifts, talents, abilities, and like being able to channel and alchemize these things into sacred creations, a big part of that is me being fully immersed in the human experience. Like it's not about taking my foot out and like pretending that I'm not here. It's about being fully immersed in the here and now, in the present moment, in the life happening for me, and being able to see that from a divine perspective and take that and create beauty from it.
It really is. And grounding in that, right? Being being so aware of all of those parts and all of those aspects. There's just so much to be said about the gift of being here. So much to celebrate in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we lose sight of that so easily, that we chose this, that this adventure is truly that, is an adventure. And um we won the lottery to get the chance to have this experience.
Yeah. Truly.
Yeah.
And it's like the even the shit parts are so sacred. Like I don't think a lot of people recognize that consciousness is our natural state, but in consciousness, you're not experiencing sensations like the burn I was telling you about that I got last night. You're not experiencing grief. You're not you are consciousness. And like to come here in human form and to experience like the annoyances you are feeling this morning in your body, to experiencing having an upset stomach or experiencing like the only kind of pain that can come from having your heart shattered by giving it fully away. Like that is so cool that we get to feel it, experience it, evolve, and know that also it's like source collecting all of this data about what it means to truly be alive.
Right. What it means, like we are source experiencing herself. And so all of the energy of the universe, like it's all beautiful, but when we come into this embodiment, when we come into this reality, we get to look at like each vibrational frequency on its own. That's kind of what this is like, is this massive dissemination of energy, like bringing things into such a micro level. And so when we experience pain outside of the body, it doesn't really register as very much on the conscious level. It's like, oh, okay, I observe a wavelength or a color or whatever it's going to look like. But when it's disseminated here in this form and we get to attach sensations to it and experience and like it's so much more rich in its essence and it's thrilling. Like, I'm not advocating we all go out and intentionally burn our fingers, but like that, as we step into each moment in our lives, like we are truly source experiencing herself and the richness of herself in that moment. And so the opportunity to look at it from that vantage, it opens everything up in a whole new way. That's why we're here experiencing love on this level and experiencing having our hearts be broken. You know what? Love is a lot less exciting in the etheric realms. Like
It
it's
really is.
beautiful. Don't get me wrong, it is beautiful, but like sexy times, all of that stuff, it just doesn't have the richness that it has here. Like hugging your partner or enjoying a flirtatious conversation, that's a gift that we get to have in this dimension, in this level.
That's one of the things I've been feeling into a lot. I feel like I was like this rebellious child, like before I really thought about my divinity or spirituality. And then I went down this path of spirituality where like the human kind of lost its appeal to me. And now when we're in this like reawakening process, like this morning I was listening to that song Wild Ones by, I can't remember, Jesse Murphy or whatever. And it just like brought back all of those feelings of like being wild and like I imagined myself like with a whiskey and a cigarette in my hand and just like having this raw human experience, like knowing I was divine and just like feeling the tobacco in my mouth and just like going 102 miles per hour in a car and like all these things. And it was like, wow, this is so exciting, but on a different, not in that rebellious, like teenager, like, I don't care about anything, but in this, like, I am a soul and I get to experiencing these tastes and these sensations in this form of like wildness, you know?
Yes, absolutely. All of the juiciness. There's this belief in spirituality that as you awaken, you need to become ascetic, you need to remove all of the world. And to an extent, that's true because when you're overwhelmed, like you're doing inner clearing and your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. So as you clear out your internal temple, you're going to need to remove yourself from external energies. Absolutely. But there comes a point that as you return to the world, you return to the vice of the world, not because you want to be all bad, but because you want to experience it.
Yeah.
When Sophia came to me the first time, like I encourage anybody who's interested in that story to rabbit hole it. I think I put it on my website, and anyway, there's resources. So I won't get into it here. But when she came to me, I was sort of expecting, okay, so if this being is going to inhabit my body, I will probably start wearing white robes and, walking in nature barefoot all the time. No, you know what I started doing is I started drinking and I started eating all the cake and driving fast and like living like crazy. Like, yeah, dabbling in substance and sex and all this kind of stuff. And I thought that that was like, I got wilder. I was already in a wild place and I got wilder for a while. And because, and then she kept saying to me, like, I'm experiencing this. And the joy of eating the cake was so poignant. Anyway, that's a can of worms though. You start telling this to people and they're
It really is. Yeah, I mean, it's hard because there's different levels. Like I went through 4 years of celibacy, no alcohol, no outside anything, and it was like this refinement process. And even though I haven't partook in any of, I'm still in it. I'm still, let's be honest, I'm still in the celibacy and the sobriety. And I'm feeling my soul want, so I had this experience. I'm just going to jump around for a second. I had this experience. There's all these people in the online world, and I'm not shaming them. We're all in our different areas, our parts of this healing journey, but they are so dead set on ascension. And my soul is literally just like, homie, consciousness is our natural form. We don't have to try to get there. We are here. We want to experience this. And there isn't shame and sin and judgment and all of this stuff. We are here, like you said, in this experience. Like, let us experience it. Why are you trying to ascend out of this experience? And it's just so interesting because, like, I got on that track too, and there was just something lull, something missing. It was like my consciousness was like, why did we come here if you're just going to do the same things? And there's a purpose to it all. Like I still meditate every day. I take very good care of my body and my energy field, and I'm stepping into this place of like this call to be wild and primal and fully human again while honoring the divinity within me. And it feels
Mm,
really good.
yeah. And it's well, okay, there's so much around that that I want to speak to, but um I feel like the ascetic work is necessary to create space within the vessel for the divine to be able to come in. Um, when we're unhealed, when our body is sick, when we are addicted to substances, the reason why we then need to go into deep meditation and, you know, use all of these tools and things like that is to create space for the divine to feel comfortable within the human body, because the human body is so dissonant in that state. The energy looks so intensely chaotic when we're looking at it just energetically. Like, how are you going to fit anything else in there? There's so much going on, right? So removing ourselves, cleaning ourselves, clearing our systems really helps to release a lot of that dissonance and bring it into greater alignment to create space for the divine being to come into the vessel. And so while we, as the divine, come into the vessel and get to experience the wildness and everything like that, we're not trying to create chaos within the vessel again. But there's this balance, right? What do we do that's right for the human body
Yeah.
while also getting our chance to have a taste of the things that were previously destroying the human body?
Yeah. I think too, it's like that consciousness. Like for me, when I choose to break my abstinence and give my body in exchange with somebody else, it's going to be a conscious choice that this person is in alignment with me, that this person is seeing me as sacred and divine, and we get to experience together. If I were to sit down and roll some tobacco and have a glass of whiskey, it would be this very beautiful, intentional, sacred experience where I enjoyed it. And it wouldn't be this vice of, I'm going to do this every night for the fun. Like, I think there's a difference in this healing work of like before, when I was having that life, right, of one night stands and parties, it was a running away from both my human and divine. It was running from myself and hiding all the pain. And like you said, you go through that process of clearing it all out, and now it's like these conscious choices of how can I deepen? How can I know more? Like even me right now falling into love and being able to like feel that, it's like this very conscious choice of like I want to experience this out of the world love. And if heartbreak comes with that, I want to experience that too. Really consciously, right? And not it's I think that's what the whole process is it's going from unconscious to probably way too conscious to this perfect beautiful balance that we're stepping into now.
And that now, yeah, now this is where we're in a new phase where we get to, so we were talking about this before we started this recording, but how humanity has just upgraded several timelines and been through so many portals and everything in the last couple of weeks. And bravo, humanity, just like in deep celebration for that fact and in deep celebration for each human individual who has of their own free will, like made the choice to ascend at this time. And that's seen by the universe, that's seen by the all and the collective, and is so profoundly felt and celebrated. It's like very, very emotional and wonderful. And this has never happened before. I mean, time and space and all the things, but we are at such a sacred place within the universe. And so speaking to that, but so humanity has declared that humanity wants to rise to claim their own sovereign divinity. And this is such an interesting landscape because we've been going through this intense process for numerous lifetimes of becoming vessels that or that the divine could come in and inhabit. And now we're declaring we are also divine as human beings. And so this is new territory for us. And we get to experience things differently. Whereas before, like the last few weeks, it's been how is the divine experiencing being human? We're going to start learning how is it for the human to start experiencing being divine? How is the human going to start being in the observer state of its divinity? Not as the receptacle, not as the container, but in its own right. And so we're yeah, the path now, it hasn't really been written. We get to experiment and explore and try and fail, and from this very interesting, robust new perspective.
I'm just so excited about it.
It's bringing a lot up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And am I okay to get into that like we were talking about before?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. So it's interesting because in our observation of the collective, some people are flowing with this very easily and some people are not flowing with it as easily. And it seems to be birth chart kind of related. So whatever blueprints our human makeup is founded on are what are responding right now to these new energies, to this new place. So the kind of the 5D and the 4D makeup of reality right now has shifted completely, which means that everybody, divine and human included, are out of their depths in what's coming. But everything that humanity has manifested is here. We are shifting into it. And for humanity, I lost my train of thought, Nikayla. Where was I?
I know you're gonna find it.
Oh, right. Okay. So for humanity, it's like, at least for me personally, for Megan, it's like going from middle school to high school. And at the end of middle school, I was like queen of the school, or one of the big kids. And I, thought I knew everything. Everything was awesome. And I went into high school with sort of this cocky self-assuredness that I knew how to be successful in high school, socially and academically or whatever. And then you get to high school and it's a totally different ballgame. And there are much older kids than you. And you realize you're still a little kid arriving in this community of big kids. And the the feeling like I don't know if I'm prepared for this is strong. And that kind of stomping around tantrum energy of, okay, we've arrived in this new timeline, this new shift, this new dimension. Everything that I've manifested is coming in. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm worthy. And so a lot of humanity seems to be in that really uncomfortable phase right now. So yeah. And it's quite dissonant. It's we called this in, we welcomed it, we told spirit we were ready, and now it's here. And it's like, well, I didn't mean that. I had this other vision in my head of it being, so easy. And from the divine level, of course it's easy, but from the human perspective, it's uncharted territory. And it's vulnerable.
Yeah, I think there is a new level of vulnerability here too. And I get what you're saying about I love your metaphor, by the way, of the schools. But for me, it's been like seeing the lack of lag in materialization of my desires has been very exciting, and also like a little startling of like, oh, if I can create that fast, whoa, what is happening? And also like being so careful. I'm not going to get into personal details here, but like being so careful of what we ask for, because seeing that if we are not so careful, sometimes an abundance of things can bring more chaos. I know you know what I'm talking about, so I'm just going to leave it there. But it can bring more chaos when we get that abundance of things if we're not fully prepared and clear on what we desire when we call it in. And so that part for me has been like, whoa, like I really can have anything I desire. And am I really clear on what I desire and what that's going to look like in my human reality?
And right, and we're still being called, it's not just being clear in our intentions, but also being clear within ourselves, of how we wish to attract and where we are attracting from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's that because we're doing this now in many levels all at once. We're attracting from the human level, we're attracting from the divine level. For those of us who have, you know, gone through the middle school anyway of the divine process, where we have this sense that, we know what we're doing, being divine vessel or being vessels for the divine on earth. And then, yeah, we don't know what we're doing. We don't know fully where we're bringing things in from. And so we have to almost like, we need an orientation, I think,
Yeah.
for
Mm-hmm.
this.
Yep. It is a really beautiful place to live. And I think that, the more we can go from with the flow, and the more that we can be okay with whatever's happening right here now for us and not try to attach any sort of reasoning or story to it, we're all going to be okay. I mean, especially knowing that nobody knows what the hell they're doing, and that we all just get to have this sacred experience, and it gets to unfold however it's going to.
Yes, yes, I love this. And I mean, from my experience, like Sophia is saying, like, this dimension that we're in, as nuanced and beautiful as it is, this is first one to be at this point. And so normally it's possible to like astral project into, or what is it, quantum jumping or things like that, into other realities to kind of take a look at what am I doing somewhere else that works better, and how can I bring that energy in and transform my reality here. And right now we are the pioneers of this energy. So everybody is groping around in the dark here. And we truly are like the divine as well. I don't know, in a good way, but it is the blind leading the blind. We are like, this is totally new frontier. And it's safe, it's amazing, it's beautiful, it is absolutely crazy gorgeous, but it is unprecedented.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's big.
it is so big.
Mm.
So it's okay for it to be a little bit scary right now.
And messy.
And messy.
And wild.
Whew.
I'm so glad we had this conversation today. It feels so good just to be here chatting with you and letting people in on this experience that we get to have so often. And before we do leave, I'd love, I'm celebrating you because this beautiful being just came out with her second volume
Ooh,
of her beautiful work. Do you want to share a little bit?
sure. Yes. This is, oh, are we in the light?
Yep,
There we
you can
go.
see it.
So the Sophia Pearl Oracle book. So Sophia Pearl Oracle book is this beautiful book of divinely channeled messages from Sophia Christ consciousness. And so there is a volume one, this one here, and this one just is this gorgeous introduction to Sophia Christ energy, and really kind of bringing it in and aligning it within the human life and human existence. This one here is it was just released a couple weeks ago, and it's so nice because it hits really close to the human experience.
Mm.
Before we started our call today, for example, I opened up this page and this paragraph here: humanity's greatest mission is also your greatest struggle. The mission to receive, the mission to receive love, dear one. And how perfect for this moment, right? And being reminded always that no matter what the circumstances are, so yes, we are on new frontier, but that's fine. As long as we're able to receive love, because this is all that this is about, we are fine, we are well, we are cherished, we are held. So yeah, Sophia Pearl Oracle books, and I don't know, I guess there's the sophiapearl.com, which talks more about my work. There's an offering coming up that will be available by the time we post this, that is to help us sort of move through and shift into this new energy. It is the orientation to our new experience, and that'll be available. Yeah, lots of other resources, YouTube meditations, things like that. All can be found at the sophiapearl.com.
And I'll put all the links below wherever you're listening to this. So check it out. And thank you so much, Megan, for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. As always, breathe deep and plan on miracles.